I remember hearing a long time ago that Dixie D'Amelio's Be Happy wasn't a particularly beautifully lyricized song. So I wanted to see if I could do better than it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to the song because I haven't actually heard it, and I'm going to react to it. We're going to see how it is because I'm not sure. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. It was fine. I think the review I heard of the lyricism was a bit over-exaggerated. But I don't think that the lyricism is the best thing I've ever heard. And I think I can do better. So let's just go over the first verse, and I'm gonna read it out, and we'll see how it is. Okay, so I have the lyrics pulled up here, and we're just gonna write the lyrics for the chorus first, which is these 4 lines. Sometimes I don't want to be happy. Don't hold it against me. If I'm down, just leave me there. Let me be sad. And I think, oh, there's some more lyrics here. Sometimes I just want to be lonely. Don't need you to hold me. If I'm low, you don't need to care. Let me be sad. So I'm going to write a new chorus with the same meaning, but just what I wrote. And we're going to see how that looks. So see you in a bit. Hello. So that was about an hour. And I have the chorus done. So that's good. I wanted to share it. So the first line of the chorus is the normal thing is sometimes I don't want to be happy. And I did like how my tears pool, like how I'm ridiculed. And the difference there is for hers, I think it's pretty obvious. For mine, I did like how my tears pool, like how I'm ridiculed is the whole thing with tears pool is with the flood in the Bible. That's sad. So she's saying she likes that. So she likes the sad, I guess. And it's also obviously tears pooling, so there's a lot of tears, so there's a lot of sad. And she likes the thing. She likes how the tears pool, and that goes kind of against God, who is the epiphany of happiness. I'm not even religious, but I think that religion is really interesting. So that's what kind of a bit of what, like that Christianity, because I kind of know it a bit. So that's what a lot of these lyrics are gonna kind of be a bit about. But and then like I'm ridiculed, ridicule is a bad thing, and so she likes that. But also when you're kind of in that thing where you like when you just want to be sad and you just want to like go through your feelings, I like kind of just being like, hey, here are my problems. I need to like look at these and seriously like think about these. Be like, damn, I need to really work on that. And so it's oddly nice to be ridiculed. And there's also a lot of biblical things about being ridiculed and God being ridiculed and stuff. So I don't know. That's there. And also I don't know, I feel like Dixie D'Amelio is kind of ridiculed a lot, so that kind of applies to her. But the next line of her song is "Don't hold it against me," and then the next line of mine is "like veggies and fruit," and that is kind of like veggies and fruit. It's obviously a classic child thing where children hate vegetables, hate fruits and vegetables, right? So she's saying she likes that, which is going back to that whole thing with liking sad things. And the whole couple lines is I like this thing that is sad, I like this thing that is sad, I like this thing that is sad. So it kind of fits in with that pattern. And also like veggies and fruit. There's the forbidden fruit of knowledge. So she likes eating that fruit and kind of like looking at the knowledge, though it's sad, and though it looks at terrible things, and though it does terrible things, eating that fruit. Because obviously it makes imperfect or whatever. But she wants to know, she wants to think about those things. So that is a cool lyric, and I like that. Next. If I'm down, just leave me there, let me be sad. The line I did, which I think hers is pretty clear, but sorry I'm not like explaining her lyrics, but I feel like it's pretty clear. It's a pop song. I mean, yeah. Mine is feel pain, cry a bit, die a bit, mourn or no. And that is kind of the Bible verse, Revelation something. I have it pulled up. 21:4. Revelation 21:4. Hold on. Let me read it. Sorry, I don't know it off by heart. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old things have passed away. For the old order of things have passed. What is this? For the old order of things has passed away. Okay. So this is saying I like to feel pain, cry a bit, die a bit, mourn or no. And the whole thing with like all of the things she listed other than no, which I'll get to in a second, are things in this verse. Saying she likes these things, right? Which goes back to the whole thing of like going against what God is, which is the epiphany of the happiness, liking these things that are sad. And also or no, and that harkens back to tree of knowledge. I like to know. Right? And then the next lyric is also attached to Revelation 21:4, which her lyric is, what is her lyric? Sometimes I just want to be lonely. Mine is, sometimes I just want to break old order, which the thing is, for the old order of things have passed away, which is wrong. That lyric is wrong, but I don't know, it's fine. I wrote this in like an hour. It doesn't matter that much. Okay, chill. The next lyric don't need you to hold me. Mine is be part of the horde or. So that's like hoarders are sad, and that's depression and stuff. So be part of the horde or part of the hoarder. Also, horde is like sheep, and sheep are cool, and a Bible thing. And this whole thing is very Bible related. So I don't know, I feel like the horde kind of fits with that whole sheep. So like the herder, horde, sheep stuff. So I don't know, kind of something. If I'm low, you don't need to care. Let me be sad. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Mine is know my fate, no matter the weight, it is sad. So that is death. She wants to know, back to the knowledgeable thing. Knowledge that leads to death. Well, knowledge, whatever, right? Knowledge, know my fate, no matter the weight. So she wants to contemplate death, which is usually what these wanting to be sad things are about, is just death. So she wants to know her fate, no matter the weight, which, I don't know, usually it's a bit of a weight, but it's also kind of short. And also, there's a thing with if you live forever, like you can't live forever if it is physically possible to die by in a whole thing with if you live forever like Adam and Eve, but there's that option where you could die, you can't live forever just by pure chance. Eventually something will happen where you will die. So that's also kind of where that no matter the weight, and then it is sad. Death is sad. So I don't know. It's pretty self-explanatory. So that's the chorus done. It's been about an hour. So it's going to be very tiring to do the entire song, but I will do it. Hey y'all, I just wrote the first verse. Was a bit shorter this time, which is good. Only took about 40 minutes, so it's a bit quicker. So the first line of the first verse is, sun's up, I already want to lay down, which, not a bad lyric. And then the lyric I wrote, spirits crushed, I don't want to be lifted up. And that is in the Bible, there's a thing about your spirit being crushed and God lifting you up. I think I'm mixing two Bible verses, but whatever. There's Bible stuff about that. And also it's just it's just a pretty normal lyric, aside from those connections. And then the next lyric is, friends calling, are you really trying to go out? And I wrote, hair's long, I kind of want to get it cut. And that is how, when you think a lot and you want to make make changes. Sometimes you're like wanting to change your physical appearance, want to get your hair cut, want to do something, you know. And also, going back to going against God, frickin' the guy, the long hair, and he was strong and stuff. And then Delilah was like, yo, like, what's your secret or whatever? You know the guy, Samson. I'm dumb. Samson had long hair, kind of want to get it cut. Kind of, he didn't want it cut, but it got cut. If you know the story, then you kind of get what I'm talking about. If you don't, then I guess you're left out of the circle. But next lyric. Sorry. I don't know if you guys can tell I'm tired. It's 6 a.m. right now. And I started this at like 4 a.m. It's been like 2 hours at this point. Just writing. And I got a thing at like 10 in the morning. So I'm gonna wake up and then be super tired, get back, just sleep for like 6 hours straight. I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be like 4 in the like afternoon. I'm gonna be like, damn. And then I have to wake up for school the next morning. But it's fine, you know. We all live. I don't know what I'm talking about. Next lyric. Her lyric, don't want to get dressed up to pretend. I don't want to eat pastry from the sky. That's a reference to the common saying pie in the sky type thinking, which is about heaven, and pie in the sky of like type thinking of like thinking about heaven, having the heaven mindset, I suppose. And pastry from the sky is also bread is a pastry, and manna was given to the Israelites from the sky. So it kind of means two things there. And then the next lyric, I can lie and say I'm fine, is her lyric. And I wrote, don't want to eat. Wait, nope, that's wrong. Did you know that I's a rock? I know all that by myself. Not really a double entendre. That's just like, that's kind of going back to knowledge, knowing things, thinking, kind of light, a little reference to that. But the main thing there is the like thing where Moses friggin' split the rock into water, and ice is a rock and ice is water, so the rock split into water for the Israelites, and then he said, and then the Israelites were like, man, you suck. And Moses was like, what? I did this for you. And God punished him because he was like, you didn't do that, I did that. So then the lyric, like, I know all that by myself, is like, I did that all by myself, which is the Moses type thinking. So it's all reference to that. Next lyric. I've got chips on my shoulder, only getting older. So I wrote, we all got some sibilance, we can't all stay vigilant. That is a thing with in the Bible, you gotta stay vigilant and like making sure you're not doing wrong things, right? So we can't all stay vigilant, we gotta all control that like evil side of us, and the we all got some sibilance is we all got some like evil, pretty much, because sibilance is some new vocab. Sibilance is a hissing sound, and that's what snakes do. And snakes are evil and bad, and Satan. So we all got some sibilance. We can't all stay vigilant. Not unclear, pretty clear. If you just know the word sibilance, I learned it recently and decided to use it there because I think it's a cool word. Next lyric. So I keep to myself, ain't trying to complain, is her lyric. Once again, okay, self-explanatory. Sorry, I'm laying it back. Man that sorry, I'm laughing at my own lyric. It's so dumb. I kinda got tired at the end, but it's all good. Man, that quail is looking tasty. Can't handle one more pastry. So that's the Israelites not wanting manna anymore, wanting the quails. Super, just out in the open. Kind of cringe. Kind of awful. To be totally honest, awful lyricism there. But, can't all be winners. And then just don't want to explain it as her lyric, which doesn't rhyme with the next thing, so that's probably a rhythm change or something, kind of like the last one. And then what's the problem with a feeling? Kind of ties to the other thing of like, quail's looking tasty. I don't want any more manna. Of like that's a feeling the Israelites had, and that's like, what's her problem with the feeling? Like, hey, I'm feeling hungry for meat. God, I don't know. God didn't really have a problem with them liking meat because He gave them quail. He just had a problem with them hoarding the quail. So, I don't know. I feel like there's not a problem with hoarding quails, but I don't know. I'm not a genius. What's the problem with feeling also ties to obviously, like, what's the problem with feeling sad, which is the whole meaning of the song. Of like, what's the problem with feeling this way? I want to feel this way. So that's the first verse in its entirety there, rewritten. God, that was tiring. It's probably been 2 hours now, has it? Of recording? 150. So it's been quite a while. I'm very tired. Very excited to go to sleep. Or whatever I'm gonna do. But I gotta stick through it. Alright. The next verse. It's the second half of it. Ah, it's a pre-chorus. Got it. Okay. So the pre-chorus is gonna stay the same, which is good. So I just need to write the verse and some other thing. Okay. That actually like makes me feel so much better because oh my god, I did not want to write more. So that actually like genuinely like made me feel great. So there's how many lines? 5 lines. No. That's kind of 6 lines. Kind of depending on your definition. So I'll write 6 more lines, come back to you with what I wrote. Tell y'all. Y'all can say if it's trash or not, I don't know. But it'll be good. Okay, so the second verse is all written. Sorry. So it starts off with a couple of lines of what's the matter of that? On Dixie D'Amelio's side. And I wrote for that. And that kind of repeats, but I wrote in the valley of death because seems on course, I think, with everything. And then she writes, bad days, it's okay, let me feel it. And I wrote, walking through the shadows makes me feel nice. And that is, once again, reference that same verse of Valley of Death, which, if you don't know, is walking through the shadow of the valley of death. Very famous little thing there, so that's kind of a continuation of the rest of that verse. And then next, and some days you gotta break your heart to heal it. I'm gonna be honest, that's my favorite verse in the song. That's great. That's actually pretty good. Some days you gotta break your heart to heal it. It's actually kind of fire. Not gonna lie. I wrote, "Death's a guy where sometimes you gotta break the ice." Right? Brain. So that's like, you gotta confront death kind of on your own time. You gotta do it yourself. You gotta think about it, kind of get it and think about it, think how you feel about it and everything. So that's kind of what that's talking about. And also, break the ice. Earlier, one of the verses, the rocks and ice, and it's referenced how Moses broke the rock and it turned into water. Break the ice, which is a rock. Break the rock. Oh, reference. And then next, I know I'm gonna feel this way again. And then sometimes you feel like you can comprehend. That's a reference to sometimes how you feel like sometimes you just like everything clicks into place and you're just like, oh, I get it all. When you think a bunch and that happens, that's cool. That's kind of what that's talking about. And then here, this next thing, I can lie and say I'm fine, but that wouldn't change anything. That first one's a repeat. So I decided to repeat that line because she did it. So I did it. And I think that that's fair. So I did. Did you know that ice a rock? Which is what I replaced that line with earlier. So, did you know that ice a rock? And it's also talking about the break the ice thing. Did you know that ice a rock? I learned that from somewhere else. So that's kind of changing there because she changed. But that wouldn't change anything. So she changed that. So I changed it too. I learned that from somewhere else, which is a riff on the earlier line where I got that all by myself. I got that from somewhere else, which is once again back to that Moses reference where he's like, I did this all by myself, and the guy's like, no, you didn't, it was me. And so this is her basically being like, nah, I didn't do it myself, I did it from somewhere else. And that's kind of it. And I'm gonna be honest, it is 6:47 a.m. I've been recording for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm really, really tired. So I'm gonna cut this off here and pretend that I'm finished. Because I really want to sleep. I have stuff to do in the morning. And there's so much. And I'm very tired. So I'm going to call it here. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. And goodbye. See ya.